Do you like how it's going so far, albeit early on here in training camp?
For sure. You know, for the last month, I've had some of the younger guys in and out training with me in Dallas at a facility I work out at, and it's been real competitive. You know, guys, getting to compete with some of their peers from other teams. Seeing how they stack up, and really pushing each other. So it's really been competitive for this last month. We've really already been in preseason. Those who are with me, and so I've already got to see Mason. I've got to see Alex. Isaiah. Aiden, those young guys who were there, they were able to really, get ahead of the curve, and they've really looked impressive, and it's showing right now, and hoping they can continue this momentum into the preseason games and into the season.
Myles, this is Field Yates. First of all, can I borrow just $10? Not asking for much, but I think you have it to spare. Let's keep the scouting theme going here. You just gave an assessment of Mason Graham, but of course everybody is going to ask your head coach about your quarterbacks and the competition going on right now. You've got a bird's eye view. You've got an up close and personal view. What have you seen from these four guys in the very early goings of training camp?
No, I've really seen that they help each other and they work together. The guys are not afraid to make a mistake, go out there and try to make a play, but also helping each other up and coaching them through what they see. Whether that's the young guy talking to Joe or Joe talking to the young guys. They're not afraid to seek each other out and make each other better.
Picture this: you wake up, stretch, scroll your phone, and bam. Myles Garrett is dismantling trolls like it's the fourth quarter. No pads, just pure facts. The dude built like a Marvel supervillain snapped and turned into a philosopher warrior, going all in to defend Shedeur Sanders like he's guarding the Heisman itself. Think this is just football? Nope, this was a full-blown intellectual beatdown in cleats. Grab your popcorn, because Garrett didn't just clap back, he nuked the timeline with receipts, roasts, and unfiltered truth.
I think everyone was surprised to see him go to the 5th round. He's come to camp and OTAs with a great attitude. He's a hardworking guy. He has a good head on his shoulders. He's always positive, always optimistic, always gets a smile on his face. And you like going to work with people who have that kind of attitude.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. You're minding your business, scrolling through your feed, sidestepping hot takes like they're tripwires, and then, boom, Myles Garrett enters the chat. Not with a helmet swing this time, but with a verbal knockout punch that could shake an entire stadium. The guy built like a human hydraulic press slicked in baby oil finally hit his limit, and when Garrett decides he's done, the whole internet takes notice.
I'm curious to know what it's like in your division, having to go up against Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and now Aaron Rodgers twice a year with a lineup of quarterbacks that's quite decorated in the AFC North.
Man, I can tell you, it doesn't get more exciting than that. And knowing that we're gonna have the chip stacked against us every single week. It's fun odds. Knowing that they're gonna write us off and that we have to claw our way up from the bottom, and rightfully so. We didn't have the year we wanted to last year, but we got to go out and earn it each and every week, and that's going through these superstar quarterbacks.
That's well said.
And who was he backing up? None other than the golden-armed, media-slandered QB who balances swagger and composure like few can, Shedeur Sanders. Yes, that Shedeur. The very name that seems to give certain analysts an allergic reaction the moment it's mentioned. Because apparently, it's unacceptable for a young, black, supremely confident, Rolex-flashing quarterback with a Hall of Fame father to excel at the position, especially if it means outshining their favorite underwhelming, second-string safe pick who's been clinging to relevance with nothing but mediocrity.
Yeah, I think with all things depth chart, certainly quarterback, I have a plan that's in pencil, and we have to take in information every single day, take in how guys are handling certain situations, and then adjust from there. But we'll get to those type of decisions later on.
But is it possible that maybe the decision could linger all the way up until maybe the week one?
Till inactives come out on week one, you're saying? Listen, I think the big thing for me is putting our guys in position where we can evaluate them. I think they did a great job in the spring, all four of those guys. We'll continue to put them in some situations, but ultimately, we'd love to make a decision sooner than later.
The same quarterback who racked up over 3,200 passing yards while staying on his feet as his O-line practically rolled out the red carpet for defensive ends. Yeah, that guy. But let's back up for a second. Who is Shedeur Sanders really? He's not just Deion's son. Not just a social media star with nil deals that would make NFL veterans jealous. He's a true field general, a poised, cold-blooded assassin in cleats who thrives under pressure and makes the game look effortless.
Shedeur Sanders a fair shot. That's been clear and obvious, but now the fans are there at training camp and they have nothing but support to show for Shedeur Sanders. You got people out there in the jerseys, they're saying his name, they're saying they want Shedeur Sanders to start, and now you have another day of not no reps, but a weird delegation of reps, right? You have Mr. Daniel on X who's going to let us know that Flacco with the ones, Pickett with the twos, then Flacco with the ones, Pickett with the twos again, Gabriel with the ones, and then finally Sanders with the threes. Now we are still awaiting on our quarterback tracker to get the official numbers coming out, but when we have that, we're going to smack you with it right on the screen. But from all of
the only man who could get sacked 52 times in one season and still walk out like he just left a spa. Pocket collapse? He's got it. Third and long? He's already 3 moves ahead. You know how some quarterbacks look like they're solving calculus while dodging defenders? Shedeur looks like he's reading bedtime stories. And for some reason, that confidence triggers people. They say he's cocky. They say he's overhyped. They say he's just a product of daddy's marketing machine. Ah yes, because only black quarterbacks get accused of being media creations. Never mind the countless overpromoted, painfully average passers who get described as gritty because they once played with a sprained ankle in a D3 playoff game. But Shedeur? Oh, he's flashy. He's too confident. Translation, he's not groveling for validation. So now enters Myles Garrett. He pointed out what the haters conveniently ignore. Like how Shedeur stays laser focused while operating behind a line that looks allergic to blocking. How he processes coverages like he's downloading Madden cheat codes mid-play. How he keeps showing up and showing out despite being treated like a celebrity at a roast session.
Path for him to get on the field earlier than where I see it at this point has to be with if one of the veteran quarterbacks during the Eagles and the Panthers just look bad, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, well let's see what we can do with this, and maybe he might earn the reps. And then the second big thing is he has to light it up when it comes to the preseason games. I told you, the dinking and dunking, where you at the pecking order at this point, that ain't gonna get it done. You have to turn eyeballs. You have to make plays. And then when you make those plays, people will say, oh, well, hold on. If we gonna...
And here's the kicker. Garrett knows quarterbacks. He hunts them for a living. His endorsement isn't some fluffy soundbite. It's practically a scouting report carved into granite. If a defensive end with 16 sacks a season says you're legit, guess what? You're probably legit. But this isn't just about Shedeur. No, this is about why the criticism exists in the first place. Let's talk about the deep-rooted skepticism still infecting the way black quarterbacks are viewed. Because when a young white QB smiles and rocks a chain, he's got swagger. But when Shedeur does it, he's not serious enough. When a white QB posts a pic with a Rolls Royce, he's living the dream. But Shedeur? And that's what made Garrett's defense so satisfying. Because it wasn't just about football mechanics or tape reviews. It was about fairness. It was about saying, nope, we're not letting y'all bulldoze another young talent with the same tired narrative. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't play neutral. He called out the nonsense like a man who's seen enough locker room politics to last a lifetime.
right on time, the quarterback tracker. So this is where you gotta read it and weep for 725. Yesterday, apparently on the quarterback tracker, Shedeur Sanders went a perfect 4 for 4. Again, he didn't get any first team reps, but you see here, Gabriel 4 for 8, Sanders 5 for 8, right? So, you know, that's all I'm gonna say is all I'm gonna say when I say it, right? That's all I'm gonna say. Joe Flacco 4 for 11. So yesterday he didn't get a lot of reps. This time I guess he got a lot more reps. And then Mr. Pickett 2 for 6 in one of them tutter things. The only man with a touchdown, and he gets the apparently the least amount of reps. But again, There's context with everything. So again, we talked about this one, right? Joe Flacco started with the first team. So Sanders had 3 plays with the 2.
Garrett highlighted what any half-awake football fan already knows. You don't put up Shedeur's numbers under Shedur's circumstances unless you're different. The man had to moonwalk out of collapsing pockets like he was auditioning for a halftime show. Yet somehow, he kept his composure. Never panicked. Never pointed fingers. Just adjusted the Rolex, scanned the field, and fired. Now of course, the trolls came crawling out of the drywall. He's not ready for the NFL. As if the league hasn't already handed clipboards to quarterbacks who couldn't hit water falling out of a boat. To play like he's not supposed to apologize for being both talented and marketable. To embrace the spotlight instead of dimming his light to make others comfortable. That's what triggers the think pieces and the anonymous scout hit jobs. Not the game, the audacity. And Garrett? He wasn't having it. He basically stood on a metaphorical table and shouted, "You will not Bryce Petty this man. Not today. Not while the NFL is still pretending it doesn't have a type."
438 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. They just put 52 up. 52 box. Why couldn't y'all beat Kansas last week, bro? This shit would have been litty. Congratulations, though.
Not while polished mediocrity is still getting second chances, and black excellence is dissected like it's a crime scene. So, let's take a moment to appreciate the rare beauty of this alliance. One of the league's scariest defenders going full mama bear for a college QB. It wasn't a PR move. It wasn't clout chasing. It was a football player recognizing the grind in another football player. A man who eats quarterbacks for breakfast saying, "Yeah, but I respect that one." Now here's where it gets even better. Shedeur? He barely responded. No press tour. No dramatic tweet threads. Just some chill Instagram captions and another day in the lab. That's his move. He lets the doubters talk, and the highlight reels do the clapping back. Silent but deadly, like if James Bond had a cannon for an arm. Especially one who spent the last year being dissected like a frog in a biology lab. Yet here he is, steady as ever. No theatrics. No clapbacks. Just focused. That's the kind of leadership scouts should be raving about, if they weren't too busy counting his jewelry.
Receipts. Oh, the beautiful receipts. We are ready to go. Right here on the barbershop, man. G. Bush is right off the road. Let me shrug my shoulders. Let me do my thing. Let me get my collar together. It was a hot and steamy practice in the morning. But guess what? It's only right that you come back and you cook like Shedeur Sanders did today. Let me get my apron ready because it is time to give you the real testament.
At this point, anyone still doubting Shedeur isn't offering analysis. They're exposing bias. Because when you take away the noise, the numbers speak. The poise speaks. The improvement, the decision-making, the ability to elevate an entire offense despite playing behind a line that sometimes looked like it was playing hopscotch, that speaks. And when Myles Garrett co-signs that, you listen. This isn't some celebrity fanboy moment. It's a football purist calling BS on the stale gatekeeping. It's a grown man with zero patience for tired tropes lighting a flare for the rest of us. Pay attention. Respect what deserves respect. What we're witnessing here is bigger than one endorsement. This isn't Skip Bayless throwing another hot take into the void. This is a human wrecking ball who has spent years rearranging offensive lines and giving quarterbacks lifelong flashbacks. Garrett isn't some media personality looking for viral clips. He's one of the most feared defensive ends in the league, and when a dude who terrorizes QBs for a living turns around and praises Shedeur Sanders' poise and processing under pressure, that's not praise. That's a confirmation code stamped by the league's Grim Reaper himself.
Kenny Pickett yesterday threw quite possibly the worst pass in the history of Browns training camp. Shedeur Sanders apparently is throwing not to receivers but to equipment guys. They've got equipment guys like Jug snapping him the ball and then also running the routes. I don't know. Mahomes is throwing to Kelsey. Shedeur is throwing to equipment guys. Okay.
See, Garrett knows exactly what separates the pretenders from the future franchise guys. And according to him, Shedeur has that thing. You know, the ignore the chaos, stand tall, and throw a laser to the sideline while the pocket's collapsing thing. The same cool you can't coach, can't teach, and definitely can't fake. When Myles, who knows how to break QBs, says Shedeur isn't breaking, you better believe NFL scouts are rewriting notes. And it hits hard because it's Myles. Not because he's loud, but because he's legit. He doesn't waste breath on hype. He's not throwing flowers unless he sees something real. Which makes this whole moment bigger than a defense, it's a validation. And it lands like a 275-pound sack lunch. But this isn't just about Myles or even just about Shedeur. It's about the bigger picture, one that's been staring us in the face since forever. Let's be real, young black quarterbacks still don't get fair evaluations. Period. Lamar Jackson? They said he should switch positions. Justin Fields? Picked apart like a science experiment. Meanwhile, less athletic, lower output QBs are given every excuse under the sun. Bad O-line, needs time to develop, gritty competitor.
2 days ago, on multiple airwaves, including Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and these very airwaves right here on the barbershop, I said there was no quarterback competition. And then Shedeur Sanders said, hold on, give me my apron, let me cook. Give me my apron over here. Let me show you what I'm all about.
But when it's a confident, well-dressed, media-savvy black QB like Shedeur, suddenly, we're nitpicking wristwatches and nil deals. The same branding that gets praised in others, entrepreneurship, poise, leadership, gets twisted into cockiness or distraction when it's Shedeur. He wears a Rolex and drives a Rolls, and somehow that's the problem? As if swagger is a crime now. As if a kid raised under the spotlight of Deion Sanders is supposed to play small just to make people comfortable. Please. Myles Garrett gets that. That's why his words matter. He's not just defending Shedeur's play, he's defending the right to be confident and excellent without being penalized for it. He's telling the world, stop turning confidence into a red flag just because it's wearing melanin and a gold chain. And how does Shedeur respond to all of it? With fire tweets? Media rants? Nope. He doesn't need a podium, he's got a playbook. Shedeur's clapbacks aren't loud, they're lethal. They come in the form of fourth-quarter comebacks, surgical drives, and stat sheets that hit harder than any tweet ever could. Every once in a while, you'll see a sly Instagram caption. Maybe a "they gone see" or a "clock's ticking." But even those are calm, measured, and dripping in that "I know I'm him" energy. He's not going viral for his mouth, he's going viral for making defenders look silly on game film.
I saw Jackson Dart throw a pick six during training camp. Now it's day one. It's day one. It's day one. It's only training camp. But I will laugh so hard when we find out what I've already known. And that Shedeur Sanders will be the better quarterback over Jackson Dart. That's a fact. It will happen.
In a world where everyone's yelling, Shedeur's quiet confidence is the real flex. It's Jalen Hurts cool. Patrick Mahomes calm. The kind of energy that doesn't chase the spotlight, because it is the spotlight. So while the critics keep throwing shade, Shedeur just keeps stacking highlights. And when Myles Garrett steps in and clears the smoke, you better believe there's fire underneath. And for the record, when Myles Garrett is the calm one in the room, you might want to rethink your stance. The man has less chill than a blizzard in a meat locker. So if he's saying, give Shedeur his flowers, then guess what? It's bouquet season. So let's wrap this up with a little perspective. You don't have to like Shedeur's watches. You don't have to vibe with the sunglasses, or the branding, or the confidence. But if you're still doubting his game, that's not about him. That's about you. And that chip on.